Hello, welcome back to episode 147, Talk of Fame podcast with your host, Kylie Montigney. Today we are joined by the amazing Chaser. He's a music producer, musician, and DJ. Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. And first of all, with you being a musician, how do you kind of draw out your influences to your music?
Well, to be honest, I'm always searching for new music, because I guess all that's like inspiring to me, like new music, every genre, right? Like from rock, pop. I try to mix stuff that I like to to a song or something. But yeah, just hearing other productions, other music, going to festivals or seeing how they do stuff. Sometimes, I try to think. Sometimes I think about it like in a live show, like with the visuals and all that. So I try to make it a bit, think of it as a dynamic way. But yeah, also my I guess like the moment where I am, right? For an example, like the emotions or stuff like that, right? Depends what direction I wanna, if it's more like emotional song or more like festival or whatever. But yeah, all that combines and it all it, and yeah, that's how I execute.
Do you like going to concerts and festivals, like in terms of mm, basically getting inspiration, or just kind of going to them in general? Do you like going to festivals and concerts? Because I'm such a big concert person. I like to go as much as I possibly can.
Oh yeah, I love it. Obviously, I know now, like since when I started going out with friends and all that, it was like obviously it's fun. I still try to go. I still go. Even if I'm playing, obviously it's a different, I guess, setup because it's different, right? Like yeah, I always go out and try to see artists that I like. But how I go to play or stuff like that, I guess it's a bit different, right? It falls down a bit
Mhm.
differently. But yeah, it's still fun. It's always fun. I love it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's always so different, like when you're performing at some place rather than just going to a concert to see an artist that you like rather than just being there just to see yourself perform is obviously so different for you, right?
Yeah, the whole backstage thing. It's nice. Sometimes maybe people think it's like, oh wow, backstage is nice, obviously, right? All the setup and all that, but it's all like, I guess, there's an area of, for an example, well, it depends the festival and the concert, right? All
Mhm.
that. But it's all the media stuff in the back, and the fun's outside, to be honest, right? Like the fun's outside where all the everything's happening. So, but yeah, there's just a lot of setup and a lot of work in the back. Other people like keeping it going, right? So yeah, it's a different play out, but it's fun. It's nice. I enjoy it. Obviously, I'm so happy to perform and put my music out there and see people dancing to it. That's always nice.
Like I'm kind of curious, what is the best concert you ever been to?
Me playing or just
Oh, either one. Like you playing or to see people in concert, not just yourself.
hmm. um well, me playing, there's a couple, right? There was one here in Guadalajara. It's a city in Mexico, and it was a huge festival. I got a good hour slot. Was on the main stage, and it was great. I've never. That was the first time I went to that city, Guadalajara, and I think that the festival was called Dreamfields. So I think that was a nice one for me. I liked it a lot. Life in Color also here. I think they used to do Life in Color in the States. I think in Canada they did it, and did it here in Mexico. I think even in London or in the UK. And that was pretty amazing too. Here it was here in Mexico City, and it was good. It was good, performing with well, myself, and then obviously other artists on the stage, and me going as a guest or like as a like as a ticket, like going in. I don't know. I think I saw one time in Vancouver. Went to see Zed. Have you heard of
Mm.
Zed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know who he
yeah,
is. I used to listen to his music a lot growing up.
yeah. He's good. I like his music and his whole show and the whole shebang. I like how he does it. And I think that was a nice concert. The whole visuals and music and the whole dynamic of all that. So I think that was a nice one that I went to.
And as terms of like shows and artists and stuff, you have played in EDC Mexico, Empire Music Festival, in Gutman, and Life in Color Mexico, and so much more. And you got to perform with artists like Zed and Alesso, to mention a few. But how do you feel those opportunities kind of helped you grow as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, it's all, I guess, a stepping point, in my opinion. Like everything, one thing leads to another. That's how I see stuff, right? One thing always leads to another, and great. I mean, to have that chance and experience performing on the same stage as Zed and a lot of artists. I mean, Tiesto, Skrillex, ah, I can't remember who else, but a lot. There's several, and being in those festivals in Guatemala, that's like it's another country beside close here in Central America, and that was good. I mean, that was totally fun. EDC, yeah, I mean, I've been in EDC like 3 times, I think, in total, and well, I mean, it's always fun. It's always great. I mean, releasing new music, performing new music, and you always get to, in my case, like, and I guess everyone, like, to connect with other people, and it's just a nice, I guess, just because everyone's there involved in music, right? So it's all great, but yeah, I mean, getting to know people, and then one thing could lead to another, and then collaborations or connections, other festivals, or la 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 la. But yeah, everything is takes you to another spot, right? I mean, maybe
Hmm.
not right away, but it always helps. It's a growing point, I think, in my opinion.
For sure. And I think like with doing more gigs or going to festivals or something, it really kind of helps you build more connections, getting more people. Like with doing a podcast, I recently said this in a segment for like a local news station, but like the key to making connections is doing what you love and doing as much as you can to meet new people as much as you can. It's like with me making new connections, it will kind of help you get more opportunities, I feel.
Definitely, yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, obviously putting in the work, right? I guess
Mhm.
when I say work, in my case, like making music and keep with that, keep doing it, right? Because I mean, at the end, if there's nothing to show or you know what I mean, to expose, I guess there's not much. But yeah, I totally agree with that. And yeah, I mean, I just went to the Grammys in LA, and poof, it was like all these people in the music industry, right? And yeah, I met a lot of people there also. So that was intense and fun in a fun way.
Like, what was it like going to Grammys? Like, I'm so jealous that you went to the Grammys. It's always kind of been a goal of mine to go to like Grammys or something like a award show like that. Like, what was your experience like?
That was amazing. I got the invitation. We went, and well, yeah. I mean, just seeing other artists. I mean, I was not. I was just like as a guest. I mean, hopefully one day I could get my music in and nomination. I mean, that's like a dream, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, amazing. I mean, getting to see other artists and talking to other artists, songwriters, seeing the performance, seeing the show, seeing just how it all works, right? Because obviously this is the first time I went there, and like I guess everyone, right? It's always on the TV or you see it on YouTube or whatever, right? But yeah, really, really, really fun. Really, how can I say this? Really, um, I can't think of the word. I'm sorry. Like really motivating. You know what I mean? Like it motivated me a lot. Like really, really much. Like just saw that, right? And I mean, I even people doing PR stuff and you know what I mean, all that stuff. And for me, that's great, right? Because everything helps in the execution of music as the artist and all that, right? But
Hmm.
really, yeah, hopefully for sure you'll go one day. So
Yeah,
yeah.
there's fingers crossed for it. The fingers crossed for it. But do you think like living in Mexico has kind of prevented you from getting more opportunities? Because I know like you've lived in Mexico since you're young.
Yeah. Well, Acapulco, I grew up, and Acapulco, it's a city, but then I moved here to Mexico City. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think, I think maybe, and the electronic music, at least in my case, like in my situation, I think now it's blown up a lot here. So I don't know. I mean, I know people, friends of mine who make music are like doing incredibly good, right? They live here and they're all around. Like a girl I know, she's playing around in Europe, India, and all this stuff, right? And so I mean, is there really like a certain way to do this stuff? Like I don't really know. I mean, I know like for an example, LA, right? Like I was there and all the big labels, all the big stuff is there, right? Like I think LA is a good spot to be. Yes, it's like
Hmm.
it could help more pretty probably, right? But I think I don't know. I think the key point is keep making music, and I think if it works, it eventually it will work. I mean, um, I'm not saying it doesn't. It could. I'm not saying it's the same. I mean, probably if having the work in and all that, I could go over there and see what's up, right? Like see what stuff could happen, or but I don't think it's I don't feel I know you didn't say this, but I don't think it's like I'm like it's like like it's somewhere to be stuck. You know what I mean? Like it won't happen. I think it could. I think it's good. I mean, you just have to keep the hustling, right? And doing all
Yeah,
that
like I
stuff.
feel like there's like no difference in terms of like no matter if you're from a small town, it's not like a big city, like known for music, like Atlanta, New York, or like Los Angeles. Like no matter like if it's like you're not in the big city, it doesn't matter if you get big success. You can still get success even if you're not from a big city like Los Angeles with all the
Mm,
big record labels.
mm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, here Mexico City is huge, right? And there's
Hmm.
all tables, but um here well it's a Latin country, so you hear it's like reggaeton. Have you heard of that genre of
Yeah.
music, like and all that?
Hmm.
I mean, you go out and mostly it's that stuff, right? And it's good, it's cool, right? But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just at least I guess it's just keep hustling and making music and keep pushing and you know what I mean? And I guess just moving around and yeah, I mean, I'm not I mean, hopefully I was considering one time to go to Toronto because I was born there, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I could go there and see. And it's still in my mind. You know what I mean? It could happen. Go to Toronto. Toronto's a big city too. It could start to touch waters over there, and also LA, right? I mean, that's. I mean, it's really close, not far. I mean,
Hmm.
so you never know. I guess it's just yeah. I mean, expand and check other areas out, right? And that.
Hmm. Yeah. And like, have you always like loved music? Like, were you always like a music like person per se? Like, I know like for me, like I'm such a big music person that it's like become my whole personality.
Yeah, I was since I was young, 13, I started to play the drums. I was in like bands playing drums, like cover bands and all that. And and yeah, it was I think from there, then years later, I wanted to get into like production and understand all that stuff, engineering stuff, right? Mostly production. But and that's where I started producing electronic music and getting involved in all this area. But yeah, since young, I was playing the drums and different bands and like cover bands and stuff like that, right? So yeah, I guess I was since I was young, yeah, started to do it.
Hmm. Like I know like a lot of people kind of find their passion in music not young. I know like someone that has like grew up with a musical kind of father and like he started music this and that. Like either way, like people find like kind of their passions differently. Like I find mine at like 14 years old. But either way, if you find it as like you're adult or young or if you're a teenager, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still find your passion if it's like music, journalism, acting, or whatever kind of it is.
Yeah, I mean, my parents don't, they're not involved in music or nothing like that, right? Like no one, like at least if I remember correctly, no one in my family was involved in music. So I guess I lit the torch, right? So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I guess it's just I liked it. I mean, I remember my sister had a boyfriend who used to play bass, and I think that was when I started to see like, oh, like all this stuff, right? So yeah, I immediately loved the drums and loved it. So yeah, there's no whatever you like. I guess we just have to keep going and do it, right? Just
Hmm. For sure. And like you have won several competitions such as Discovery Projects Mexico 2014 for single top of the world, Best DJ 2015 by the DJ Music Awards, and some other big things. And how does it kind of feel to kind of be a finalist or basically winning the competitions um the Discovery Project Mexico 2014?
Well, I mean, it's great, right? I mean, that was like in the whole, it was a competition from, yeah, 2014, and it was like the whole country, right? So, I mean, it's one of the things you do. And I mean, and I guess you don't process it. Like, obviously everyone wants to win, right? But I guess
Mhm.
it arrived and I got the email and I was like so excited and it was great. I mean, that helped me a lot also with my career and my stuff and the music and that, right? Like, to get a bit in line. And yeah, I mean, in the past before that, I mean, I did other several, I think, smaller competitions online and stuff, but nothing ever clicked. But I mean, I'm glad it clicked. I mean, I guess it's just the keep going part, right? Keep
Mhm.
pushing and all that. And but yeah, really great. And hopefully a Grammy soon. That'll be amazing.
That's the next goal for you. I like the
It
Grammys.
is.
Maybe it'll happen in 2024, like early 2024, it might happen.
That'll be great. Hopefully, that'll be amazing. Yes.
Yeah, like what is like your favorite person that you share the stage with, like at like festivals or at concerts you performed at?
Um, I think, well, as I said earlier, I mean, as I'm a huge fan of Zed, right? He played in Guatemala also, so that was nice. That was great. Sharing, I mean, we just shared words for a couple of minutes, but him, I guess. There's this DJ called Rehab also. I don't know if you've heard of him. I think he's Dutch. And yeah, that was nice. I mean, I always try to learn, right? I don't think we ever finish learning, right? We're ever
Mhm.
done learning. But yeah, I guess number one for me, I think at this point, I think Zed was a good way to see all his team, just how he executed and the whole setup, right? Because just people, everyone just sees when he goes and stands there and plays. But I mean, there's a whole background, right? He goes with there's like, I go with the team, right? But I mean, obviously his team there's a lot, it's bigger, right? There's a lot of more stuff involved. And but just to see all that, I mean, I guess it's just to see how they execute and taking note, right? For me personally, just to see what I could learn from there.
Like I was such like big artists like him, it's just like they kind of like they bring much more things you just expected than you think like when you're a fan and audience, you're like, oh, it's like you don't bring a couple of things, but like when you're backstage and like and you witness things, you're like, oh wow, this guy brings more than we kind of put in our cars or bigger than our car. Like this is like brings more than we can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like from the visuals, the lights, and engineering, and then his video team, right? Like all that stuff. Like every artist does like an after movie, right? After or something like the gig or whatever, right? Like the whole setup, right? So it's photographer also, like all the stuff to document and have exactly just an after movie. But yeah, it's a lot of sound check, and then you know what I mean, like all this stuff. And I mean, I go to do sound check, right? And I take sometimes a while setting it up and the visuals and this, and then something's not clicking or whatever, right? Like some those things have. That's why there's a sound check, right? To check everything's set up correctly. But but yeah, I mean, I guess it's better just to go with what you need, right? Instead of
Mhm.
like more than we can handle, right? I think. But yeah, I think him, I think, yeah, I think I always remember just looking at his how they execute stuff. So that's, yeah, he was a good inspiration for me.
I love that. And like the last thing I have for you is like what is some advice for like upcoming producers or artists or just people just kind of starting out in the music industry?
Well, I think well, the main thing in my opinion is, and I think everyone could agree, is like the like making music, right? Like it's that has to be like, I guess, number one priority, right? To make it and all that stuff, and to keep producing music. And you know what? I think something that I wish I would have, how can I say this, like, known earlier, or at least really consider it, was maybe it sounds weird, but it's like just the ego part. Like I think it's really important find a way how to eliminate the ego, because I think an ego can sometimes screw stuff up, like limit situations. Like it could have been better. It's just because the ego sometimes it plays a role where everyone just keeps their shoulders high, or I don't know, right? I mean, you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
just think, and what I'm referring to also in this as when I say ego, also is like, for an example, um, sometimes like I don't know, friends of mine who produce, right? Like, or people I know, sometimes I'm like trying to like sometimes I show them a beat or a song or whatever, right? And sometimes they give me their input. And sometimes I say, okay, well, do you want to help me just see what, like, and they throw some ideas, and sometimes something works different and I like it, right? And I could keep it. And then sometimes it changes, but some people, and it's fine, right? It's not a bad critic, but some people are like, no, 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 that doesn't work. This is mine, like mine, you know, you keep on their thing. And maybe it could work sometimes, but I think sometimes that's an ego. I think if someone can do better drums than me, for an example, I would ask that person to help me so my song could sound better drums, right? Like it could be, it's just an example, right? Or better or whatever, or something like that. It's like not limiting, because for an example, writing lyrics, I know that's not my strong area, for an example, right? Like I could do stuff, but I mean, I know I have a friend who's like I just put a beat and he's like, okay, we're put the mic on, and then he's just throwing stuff, and it's like, it's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, I mean, open to collaborations, I think, and learning from one another, and try to control the ego. And yeah, keep just producing. I mean, I know the ego part, I think it comes with age, right? Like when people grow up, like I think that changes, and that's fine. That's how it is. But I think if, yeah, we could uh, take control of that, I think that could be great. And yeah, mainly the music, and what we talked about, right? Like connecting with people and sharing your music. Also that, I mean, I think sometimes we don't like to share stuff because we don't think it's that good, right? Like we don't want to get it out there, or because this or whatever. But I think, I mean, like I don't think there's a point where someone could say this is like, I don't believe in perfection, right? Me, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't. So I think it's just, yeah, like get it out there and get it out there and keep going and going and dun, dun, dun. I think it's more important the quantity, right? Of like keep pushing instead of, obviously quality is really important, but we could take sometimes years just trying to perfection something, and years went by and it never went out. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just keep pushing it out and keep going, and yeah, just keep having fun with it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I like what you said earlier because like not everyone is basically a perfectionist. Like even though they might think like, oh, I'm a perfectionist, like I'm better than everyone in the music or something. I'm like, no one's perfect. Even though like you might have the confidence, everyone deserves confidence in their own way, but it's like that much confidence. Like there, of course, you may think you're the best, but there's people that might be better than you and much better than you, but you may never know. But like,
Exactly.
it's just like as much as they put out there, like that might not be good as you think it is. Like you might, oh my God, this is the best thing. But then like months later, you're like, why the hell did I put this out? Like why these people probably think this thing I put out is horrible. Like why did I put this out? But then like it's all worth like putting things out because you don't know if people are gonna like it or not. Like that's a point of hate comments is people that don't like it. Like that's a point of hate comments.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're never gonna please everyone, right? Like that doesn't work like that, and that's fine. That's part of the thing, right? I mean, I saw a video once. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm gonna look for it, and if I find it, I'll share it with you. But it's just a little clip. It was like Kanye West saying, I think like he released a song, and like months, or I forget if it was a year after, he was like, "Oh, I should have done this to this part." You know what I mean? And the song's like a hit, and you're like, "What?" Like, so I mean, I think that's our mind. Like that's the creator side where we're thinking, wait, we could change. Even songs I hear now, I'm like, oh, I should have done this, but I'm glad it's out. You know what I mean? So I think it was the right decision at the moment. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, just giving that example of Kanye West, I mean, the songs are hit, and he's like, I should have done this, but different, or changed this. You know what I mean? I don't think that ever ends. That never ends. I mean, I always I guess show a song to a friend and he'll think, oh, I'll do this. And I mean, that always happens, right? There's never a limit. So yeah, perfection, I don't think is a way to go. But keep
Hmm.
it good, right? Keep it tidy, I guess, or neat if you want to say it like that. But yeah.
Yeah, like to see like people like Kanye West, like with Kanye being such a huge artist for years and years, like to see him kind of like recognize that is probably like a huge factor. And I'm sure other big artists like Taylor Swift or I don't know, like Keith Urban or somebody, I'm sure they recognize that as well. Be like, why did I put this out? Like, this is actually horrible. And like with Taylor Swift, like I don't know if you know who she is, but she's such
I do.
a big artist. Like everyone knows her name and like everyone's like dying to see her. If you don't like this person or not, everyone has their own doubts and like why did I put this music out? Like even big artists recognize that. Even with Kanye West, and he's like, well, this song's a hit, but I don't think I think I should add this part to it, even though it's I don't like this part as in the moment I did, but I'm like, this should have kind of been changed a little bit.
Yeah, I know. That's totally agree with you. It's a never ending wormhole, you know what I mean, of possibilities, what we could do, perfectionist and all that, right? Like to try to nail it. But I mean, look at them, right? Look at Taylor Swift and like super successful, super, you know what I mean? So it's part of the game. So I think really it's yeah, don't going back to your question, like what advice I could give? I mean, I think yeah, not to let those, I mean, it's good, I guess, in a way to want to make stuff better, right? I mean, that's great, obviously, right? Like try to, you know what I mean? Like try to push it to make it as best as you can, but not to limit like not go crazy with it, right? Like know where you're at and if it's good, like let's go in the next step. Like let's keep going and moving it and yeah, I mean, just always making music. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, when for some reason, if I have like time off or like I stop making music for whatever reason, when I get back to it, I mean, I think it's like I have to get back, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like you have to get on the
Like right
you have to
track,
get
basically.
yeah you have to get going at it again to and so it's good to keep always making because the ideas are more sharp, right? They're more there, they're more ding, 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 ding. So yeah, I think it's that. I mean, I've looked at uh I don't know him personally, but I know, you know, Skrillex. You've heard of Skrillex?
Hmm.
Yeah, like he's a DJ producer, also know that. And just like videos, and I see like, and people commenting of him, like he's like on vacation, he's with his computer, like making music. Like that's great. I mean, I think it's the discipline there is strong, right? And
Hmm. For sure.
and
And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast. It was so great talking with you. And just thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
thank you so much. No, thank you for the invitation. We'll talk soon for
Of
sure.
course. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Ciao. Bye bye.